just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry.
I'll be crying too, shit.
It's a red flag.
We got the real.
Yeah. That still trips me the fuck. I'd love to get a sponsorship from them, but that still trips me the fuck
I love.
Is it good?
Real. It's good. Like
it's crisp. It's different. Okay.
It's very good. And also the size, the tall boy cans is also like a huge plus for me.
Like it's the correct amount of water.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you also feel edgy. I remember I got.
That's the part I don't like.
Thing about. I bought like one can, and my mind was getting tricked because I'm thinking like I'm about to drink a beer, but oh shit, it's water. You know.
Yeah.
You feel dangerous. By the way, editor, fucking bleep all that shit of us saying who we're talking about.
No free clout. No free clout. Dead ass.
Not a fucking ounce.
Yeah. Fuck an ounce until they start
not a tall boy full of it. And then it's brought to you by Every Time. No problem.
Absolutely. We will sell out
100%
quick.
Yeah. It'll be I'll have cans all in the back and shit. No problem.
Fucking
cans all in the back.
Just me on this shit, just like trying to get some shit, just like throwing cans like everyone.
It's delicious. I'm opening them up as I'm trying to look at the stuff. I'm so hydrated.
Oh my God. Bathing in it.
I wonder how expensive it would be to bathe in the water that will not be named.
The mountain water. That shit will probably
be
pretty legit, actually.
Yeah, probably would feel.
You
good
probably do it for $100.
Yeah, okay.
Do it for $100.
They are tall boys.
Yeah.
The cans are tall boys. You know,
so 100. Like, you feel like 100 cans will fill up a bathtub.
I'm thinking about a shower. Like if you take a quick shower.
Yeah. How many gallons is a quick shower?
I feel like a shower might be.
I feel like a shower is a lot of water. Like I feel like if you taking a short shower, which I would consider to be 5 minutes, that's
typically less than a bath. I remember proving that to my my mother when I was growing up.
Oh, shit.
That's wild. Why was that an argument?
Because her argument was that a shower was using more water, so it was more costly.
She was telling you to stop shower. Yeah,
and I was like, that's not true. That does not make sense. So I remember one time, I ran a shower for my average shower amount and just left the tub stopped, and I was like, this is less than I would run for a bath. So I was like, we can stop this argument. To her credit, she said no. She said two. First of all, this was like I was old enough where like she wasn't beating my ass no more. Like at that point, I was like, this was like 16-year-old Alvin. Like she wasn't beating 16-year-old Alvin.
Yeah. So he was catching the bell like no problem.
Yeah, this was a conversation between adults at this point, and she was like, you know what, touche, you are correct.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So
that's a good, growth. That's a good, I don't know if much happened post that, but that's at least one good, tick on the ledger.
Yeah.
It was a very good household to be an adult in. It's just that I wasn't a fucking adult.
Yeah. Jesus, that
it's like housemates type vibe.
Yeah.
If you had moved, if you just moved in like to an apartment like at the age of 0, it would have been dope.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, everybody, welcome to Waving the Red Flag, the number 1 dating relationship and Spotify Wrapped, as well as post-housal trauma podcast, in the entire known galaxy.
Rent control podcast, number 1 rent control podcast.
These are all podcast. I mean, these are all callbacks, by the way. So check out that live, man. Cop that Patreon.
Always
do that.
Be plugging.
Always be plugging.
Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder, my good brother. But you know what I'm saying? And with that being said, it's your boy Josh. It's Alvin, and it is the fearless leader, Edward Overgold, with his brand new hair back from the Turkish Isles.
This is a unit. Thank you.
Thanks for
noting it. This shit was expensive. It's all mine. I bought it. This shit ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, 100% chinchilla.
They stapled that bitch right into my scalp.
Yo, dead ass though. Like, would y'all judge me if I like got like a unit? If I just like started rocking like,
is a unit
different hairstyles,
like a glue-in situation,
like some shit that I could change out, but it looked like mine. But y'all know I'm bald, so if I just
that shit made out of goddamn microphone tops.
Also, you have hair, Josh. We keep having to call this back. Like you have.
No, you
have hair.
Stop, Alvin. Okay, all right.
I mean, thank you. I do have hair.
Okay,
I do.
Yeah, all right.
But I had to go out on top. You know what I'm saying? And that hair ain't hairing like it used to.
Yeah.
You know what
Hey
I'm saying?
man, I'm just
we doing
letting people.
body pop. Yeah,
I'm just
Look,
saying,
man,
if I
I'm
came
just-
back with a Jamie Foxx hairline with dreads next week,
Yeah.
next
I
week,
wouldn't say shit. I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it kosher. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping
Okay.
it together. You know, like I'm just, hey Josh.
we're like, "Well, go on."
I don't comment on people's bodies. You know what I'm saying? Unless we have that relationship, so there can be a little bit of roasting. But I feel, if I'm being honest, I feel like hair is sensitive enough as a topic that I probably wouldn't say shit, because I feel like that's the thing that people like. The first day you come out with a hair unit, a person is going to be self conscious of like, oh, do people know? Are they going to think da 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 da? So I'd be like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not even going to say it looks good. I'm just going to be like, hey, it's good to
But
see
then
you.
you gotta
Looking
say
good. Like, I'm not
something though.
yet.
Like you gotta
You compliment it.
That's weird. Yeah, like if you just
Really?
look at this shit and don't say nothing, like, oh my god.
Just look away.
It's like, nigga, I know. It's like, you know
So, like-
damn well.
So one of my coworkers who was bald, like Sherman Helmsley bald, got hair restoration surgery,
Yeah.
and it worked out really, really well for him.
Okay.
Of the senior leadership, like all of us are either like balding, receding hairline, something's going on.
Yeah.
So he was like, I know y'all niggas got questions. He was like, so he didn't run away from this shit at all.
That nigga you came into the conference room, he was turned around in the chair and he spun
Yeah, he
around like
was
a
like-
supervillain and said,
Yeah.
so I understand you'll have questions.
Yeah, nigga was like, what y'all want to know? Do y'all want what? Like, ask me for the details. So,
And my
Nigga walked in
content.
like, I can explain.
so that's how I would approach this shit, like for real. But
Yeah.
like dead ass, like so, like if I come in, late 2025 with a new line, just don't say nothing. Just be happy for me, Just be happy for me.
Wait, because you'll bring it up.
Oh, I will 100% bring it up.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm not saying, if it was Alvin, I probably would say something because he seems like he maybe wouldn't mind or at least that's the the face he puts
Oh
on.
yeah, like
But
I'm
I feel like for
100%
me-
telling y'all that shit. Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
First of all, y'all niggas would know obviously because I'd probably be like off for like.
By the way, yeah. He'd be healing.
And then I'm gonna come back. Yeah, I'm gonna come back
with.
with like a trucker hat on for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then like niggas gonna have questions. Like, let's talk, let's do it.
Yo, dog, but dead ass though, like the ones well, either way, like because I got a homeboy that went to Turkey and got his shit redone.
Yeah.
Turned out very well for him also, but the recovery time is like 6 months.
It don't. Yeah, and you may not even see results until like 10 months, right? So it's like,
Yeah, fair enough.
and then it also may not take. So you may need to do another round. Like it's a lot of variables with that shit apparently.
Yeah.
Bruh, that's like,
But it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive to like take a chance on it, honestly.
oh no.
How much is it?
Less than,
If you do it in the States or if you do it in Turkey.
Yeah.
you're right.
In Turkey, yeah.
You can get them packages in Turkey for like $5-6 grand, man. Like
Less than
flight,
that.
hotel,
And then that includes the flight and the hotel. And
flight,
everything. Okay, yeah. Shout
hotel,
out.
like procedure. Like it's package deals for Turkey, like for real.
Yeah. Nah, I'll look into that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to keep. Well, I don't know. Because I also feel like sometimes you put so much. Because like I got baldness in my family, and I'm trying to hold on to my shit a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got the finasteride and the minoxidil and all that kind of shit. But I'm also like, man, is it that serious? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like once you start trying to fight to keep some shit, that just seems like a downhill
Nah.
battle, or an uphill.
Nah, fuck
That-
that, man.
you know what
I be
I'm
doing the topical shit, but it's like it irritates your scalp so much. Because
Yeah.
like my whole issue is,
Oh, from the minoxidil.
well, obviously minoxidil, but they do like topical finasteride too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And this is a men's issue podcast. And again, I've talked about this before, so no big
Yeah.
deal. But taking the pills, which I did for some time.
Oh, fucks your dick up for sure.
Yeah, like I was, and again, to give the full context for the listeners, allegedly the sexual side effects are a small percentage of people, right? I
May
was
or
in
may
that
not
small
be your
percentage.
boy. But
I was in the allegedly small percentage that had sexual
Yeah.
side effects. So I stopped
Yeah.
taking the shit because it wasn't worth it for me from that perspective. But on the topical, it absorbs into the bloodstream actually less, and there's a much lower chance of having sexual side effects on it. So I took the leap to try the topical. And just see where that goes. But that again, it takes like 10 months for them to see for you to allegedly see like the max benefit of what that looks like.
for finasteride, for topical finasteride.
Yeah, but it's a mix.
Like,
It's a compound. It's a compound formulation, right? So it's
like epoxy, like you put it on a two and then it start bubbling up.
Actually, yes, but also it's
Yeah.
minoxidil and
Hilarious.
finasteride topical solution, and it fucks my scalp up like for real. Like it's very irritating. But allegedly it works without sexual side effects. So
Yeah. I feel like, fuck it. Just I feel like I want to be comfortable just shaving my shit off and just being okay with that, as opposed to like, oh, let me put, you know what I'm saying? Like I got to put all these ointments and chia pet fucking, fertilizer and shit on there.
You'll know when it's time to let it go. You'll know when it's time.
But see, that's the problem, because by the time it's time to let it go, it really should have been let go a little bit before.
Again, brother. Yeah. Like use me as an example. You got to know when to go out on top.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
How do you feel, and how did you feel about that decision?
How did you feel? How do you feel about being bald?
What has been the emotional impact of losing your shit? Like, what was that like?
How was it like to not get bitches anymore?
Man, no, stop playing this game, man.
Shut up,
Josh swearing you're ugly nigga every episode, bro.
I'm tired of Josh trying to.
Look at the voice.
I'm tired of Josh trying to steal my role on this podcast.
Oh God,
Josh.
You too, Alvin. Shut up.
No,
shut up.
Fuck both.
You got
fuck both.
You got six figures. Fucking 6'2". Shut up.
No, fuck both.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm gonna let Josh. talk about his feelings on this, but I'm gonna let y'all know this is one of my
every
favorite
episode.
stories.
The comments is, "Oh my God, Alvin, blow my back out." And Alvin like, "Oh yeah, these hoes
this is one of my.
me. Come on,
this is one of my favorite stories. This is one of my favorite
blow
stories.
my back out with that mind, Alvin.
This is one of my favorite stories because I have to pay attention to these things because again, I'm a bar guy, not a club guy. These motherfuckers is club guys. So
I'm definitely not no club.
We are in London, right? We are in London. We leave a show. I'm hanging back. I'm chilling. I'm scoping the scene or whatever. And I see groups of women stop and ogle Josh and Eddie in succession. Right? Literally. These niggas don't have to pay attention to it, right? These niggas don't have to pay attention to it because that's they every day. That's just what they used to. These niggas, it just happened.
Ain't no there was no rubbernecking because I'd be looking for that. I wish.
Women are stopping in groups of threes, right? And then giggling and like pointing and like laying like, man, like you see these motherfuckers over here? And I'm like, that's a completely different lane. You gotta point
this shit though. Look, if this is happening, you gotta point this shit out. Because I was
that's a completely different lane than what I'm used to.
Would have been yes. Yeah, ma'am, if y'all three are watching this, next time please say something.
It wasn't even three, it was groups of threes, but it was several groups for both of these.
Okay, so if y'all triads can
I'm in a different lane.
Your mic is fucked up, Josh, I think.
My mic? Oh fuck.
Yeah, because I didn't realize you were talking.
Appreciate. Yeah, this shit goddamn anyway, dude.
There we go. Yeah.
L-Mans, Alvin. L-Mans, bro. Because like, why didn't you say anything like when it happened?
Bro, that's crazy.
I thought y'all niggas knew that like it was fucking groups of gaggling women around y'all.
Man, come on.
This nigga, first of all, Eddie, fuck you, Eddie, because you know you be on this shit being like, oh, I'm Eddie Overgold.
Oh yeah.
The women. If there's a woman around me, of course she wants me. Of course she wants me. There's a woman, and I'm Eddie. Like
hey, look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't like. Stop! I want bitches. What are we talking about? Like,
I don't want bitches. I wouldn't like it. All I'm saying is respect me, bitch.
No, yeah.
I didn't know where that was going. I didn't know where that shit was going. I'm sorry.
Me neither. Honestly, I didn't know where the sentence was about to go. But yeah, no, come on, man. If it's women around interested, I want to have an engaged, mindful interaction. Is what I'm saying.
All that to say, the hoes be all on these niggas. And again, man, this isn't like a woe is me kind of situation. Because trust me, I do just fine in my lane. But Josh,
and still Eddie a little woe is me.
But Josh and Eddie have completely different lanes than I do. Josh and Eddie have completely different lanes than I do.
No, we do. To be fair, I will say we definitely have different. That's a fact. I don't think that like any woman.
Your lane is wider.
All three of us.
Your lane is wider.
Stop. That's what I'm saying. Don't stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop it. Between so you got 8 lanes, traffic. Alvin shit is a boat. It's a ferry lane. It'll take you a while to get there, but so I feel like between the three of us, any woman that's interested in all three of us, certified freak. Like in a lovely way, but that's in a lovely way. That's wild because we are 3 non-intersecting kind of categories of niggas. So I agree with that in terms of lanes, But come on, man. Like, it's the same number of lanes of traffic.
No, it's not, bro. I'm telling y'all. I seen what I seen.
Okay.
That's funny.
And I thought y'all niggas was
Because
aware. I'm
it's shit-
sorry.
No, but it's shit that because I also saw with you the same thing, Alvin. And
No, you didn't.
there's at
'Cause I
least
be
one
peeping.
specific situation.
Peeping.
There's at least one specific situation that I can't say publicly on this like on air. But I was like, come on, dog. It's some energy occurring in these situations, and it was definitely moments where we was out and about, and like you said, bar guy, not a club guy. Some women were eating your fucking words up. Let's not bullshit. So,
Oh yeah, big facts.
Bar guy, not a club
doing
guy.
better than both me and you, cause like in real life, this nigga's doing
That's a fucking lie, Josh. But anyway, Josh, like we gotta circle back to this question. Like we're going full circle.
What was the question?
oh yeah,
How do I feel about? Being
did you
both?
ask it? Oh yeah, okay, no, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you
I
asked
did.
it.
I'm sorry, I forget.
Well, dude, I asked
Yeah, how
myself.
did you like emotionally? Because when I think about when I think about losing my hair,
Mhm.
and I know we made man, I think about this shit all the time when we were in the flat in London, and I said something, and Alvin goes, "Oh no, my identity!" And I thought that was the funniest thing because I said something about my hair. But I feel like, you know, with all aging, body image, body transformation shit, it feel like there's distress that people don't necessarily express. They just get their lips filled, they get their teeth white, they get a tattoo, whatever. But it's like you're looking at your body and going, I don't like what's happening. I don't like the way it looks. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and going, fuck, who is this? Will people like me? Will people want to have sex with me? Will people respect me? Whatever. And that's distressing. I know that's the case, at least for me personally. So I'm wondering, in your journey, what was it, if anything, like that?
That sounds very brutal. Like if that's
Yeah.
what's going on in your mind, you know what I mean? You just trudging
100%.
along every day. Jesus, you started making me feel bad about some shit that I just well, damn, I
Hey,
didn't
look,
think about it like
you
that.
have no obligation to feel feelings that you
No.
don't feel. It's
Nah,
just a
but,
question.
Well, no, like I mean, I felt a certain type of way, but it was just getting to a point where it's like I don't even feel comfortable with my hair out per se, or like I'm just being like self-conscious, like, oh, I got a big ass forehead, you know. But no one ever like said no one ever was like, yo, nah, Josh, it's time to cut that shit. Like cut it off.
Of course not.
You know.
Yeah.
And even like women that I was like super cool with, like they would keep it real with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where I kept cutting, like, damn, it's starting to recede, like even more in there. So I just, and then I had, you know, I got a beard, and I'm not a terrible looking person, so I was like, well, shit, hopefully I can rock the bald head and beard look, and you know, still be okay. It was definitely a little difficult to cut it off for sure, because like, am I really about to do this? You know, I'm going to the store getting the shits, and you know, just said fuck it, and to the point of no return, just took that the clippers, cut it all the way down, and then shaved it. Sent some pictures, and like, hey, how does this look? I ain't seen no pictures. I ain't seen no fucking pictures. I'm lying on that.
FaceTime.
In
Nah,
person.
bro, it's Android gang over here, baby. You know what I'm saying? We can't do FaceTime.
You drew a picture of it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? We on WhatsApp.
Did a little sketch. How do I look?
But yeah, I mean, so I would, if I had a choice, I would still rather have like a full head of hair. Like I would rather have like long hair. You know, like some cool ass dreads, like, you know, OG Eddie type shit.
You look crazy. Honestly, you would look crazy with the way my hair was. Like that would look so ridiculous if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if anybody could pull it off like the way you pulled it off either. Cause like even like the Florida niggas that have like more freeform dreads, I don't think it always like lands the way they think it lands. I think
we talking about when I had the locks?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about
like your locks.
I feel like Josh could pull that off. Actually,
your locks.
You talking about when I had the, you know, the Egyptian pharaoh shit.
Yeah. Bad bitch hair. I would have been crushing these hoes.
Yeah, that would have looked so crazy on you, dog. If I'm being 100%, that would look. You would look like a poodle, dog. It would look crazy.
I don't know, fam. Yeah. You never know until you try.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you know before you try it. That's not true. I don't know why people say that.
I don't know, gang.
I also think that sometimes you got to try it too, because like when I had my fro, I'm looking back on pictures where it like got to like it's like peak volume, and I was like, man, I look fucking crazy. And then people didn't tell me that they thought I looked crazy until after I cut it. Like my family was like my sisters pulled me to the side and they was like, "We're so glad that you finally cut that shit off."
And I did.
apparently everybody hated that shit. So, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I had that experience of like my hair being like out here and like
I feel like you could have skipped it.
But, hey man,
anyway,
you know,
yeah,
they didn't know they hated it till I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, all right.
Well, let's get into a serious topic, shall we?
Serious discussion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As well.
Yes. Speaking of hoes, did y'all? I'm just playing.
I was waiting for the segue.
I know,
I was gonna say speaking of bald, but I was like, I feel like that's too much of a long bow, you know.
No. All right, hold on. Let's talk about this porn star that had sex with 100 niggas in 24 hours, setting a record.
Is it a record? Did she actually hit the record? Because I feel like I've seen more.
Actually, I have no idea. I'm just talking shit.
You just on her way up.
Yeah.
Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Okay. Just take
I'll be crying too, shit.
Yeah. Same.
God damn.
I mean, yeah, not same probably.
Can you imagine?
I think I was you know, when I talked to you last, like I was not nervous. It was like the day before. I was like,
I don't think I can.
so
Not
nervous.
yet, yeah.
But it was good. It was more, I guess the interactions when like I'd have to stop them early and like you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go. And like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to make them come if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like you didn't give them a good time because like they only got 2 minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Like, kind of like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad. Like, some people just travel so far. Like, I didn't want to give them a shit time and like come away from this and be like,
That's sweet.
oh, that was shit. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal things at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember. And that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know.
Dang.
But yeah.
Congratulations.
Doing 100. Glaswegian. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I feel like there's, I mean, because I didn't watch the documentary, but I feel like there's more layers to that.
Yes.
Than even what she's saying in this clip.
Oh yeah.
That probably are best teased out by, you know, like a therapist and that kind of thing, because I'm like, yeah, she said there's this dissociation of like being out of your body and being like, cool, I'm having to go through the motions of this work and I'm not enjoying it, but I feel obligated and I can't feel like I can't stop what's happening, and it feeling a little bit like there's this undertone, which is talked about, like other people mentioned, of it feeling like, you know, a sexual assault situation. And it being that energy. And then I wonder, like, she's like, oh, I'm sad because I didn't make them, you know, like I maybe didn't give them a good time.
But that was just
but that feels
funny. It was not funny, but like it was kind of funny to me. Like the guy was just like, oh, so you're sad because you couldn't make everyone come, huh? That makes sense. Damn. Poor girl. And then she was like,
what do you think about that? Because that does seem to me like at least an honest, like at least one of many components of that. That does seem like not untrue.
I mean, but like, I guess like just it was like that one thing when clearly like how she just broke down when she thought about actually what she just got through doing, and she just started crying. Like clearly that's like that's so traumatizing on levels I don't even think she realizes yet. The fact that she can only remember like 6, 10 guys that she was with, and it's 100 niggas, like just using your body. But 100 niggas over the span of 24 hours using your body.
I think this is.
And you just disassociate, because
I imagine it's tough physically, like mechanically. I think it's tough.
Oh yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Mechanically too, but god damn,
I feel like it's a. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's multiple sides to this because so many people are making porn. It's very, very popular. It's very, very in vogue right now. People are also making porn where they're much, much more heavily in control of the what do you call it? Like the value that their labor produces. Like you got OnlyFans and all this kind of stuff where sex workers are more. And I don't know if this is true across the board.
The value,
you know,
and
we can talk to when we have folks on. Say again.
Said the value and the volume.
The value and the volume is more, and the vulva are more under your control. It seems. That said, it feels like when a situation like this happens, we're like, oh, the whole thing is terrible and bad. But she's also talked about this feeling of like, I really enjoy this work and I like doing this for the most part. But I also wonder to what extent that's true. So the like 100 men using your body thing, I'm kind of like, if it feels like that, then that is what it is. Like, trauma is how you interpret a thing. If you don't feel that way,
your trauma is yours. Your trauma is yours. Yeah.
So then when I think about that thing, I'm kind of like, it's not necessarily bad if that's what you want to do, but I think sometimes a paycheck puts you in a situation where you're like, I'm actually doing labor that is deeply emotionally distressing in this moment. So. Which is, maybe I'm not even disagreeing with you, just being like it's not inherently, I don't know.
And I wasn't even done, like, because
my fault.
Even because, like, yes, like, if it's back to back, 100 bodies in one day, that is some Guinness level shit. But anyway, what I was about to say on top of that was like when she brought into the matter of time, it's like some niggas only getting 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and like that's like. Prostitution on a whole nother level, baby. Like, I mean, like you doing some constant mafia-thon marathon shit with your pussy.
Yeah.
And I mean, but when you take into account how personal, intimate sex is and like, you know, swapping those bodily juices, it's a lot of shit that needs to be uncovered under there. And I'm not saying that, oh my God, she's like a victim or like,
I do think there's an argument for that in this situation specifically though.
I definitely think there is, but my whole thing is, and just having conversations recently just around sex and how people view sex in rebuttal to a lot of people saying stuff like, oh, I need to be more intentional about this act or that act. I'm like, do you want to be more intentional about that because you think that adds value to how you experience something, or are you doing that because of these Puritan structural like things that like make you feel a certain way by engaging in the kind of behavior that like you want to engage in, right? So I often wonder in these kind of situations, why does somebody feel the way they feel? Do they feel the way they feel because of some sort of intrinsic feeling about how they feel about the thing, or do they feel about, you know, or are there exactly, do they feel shame because of how a more Puritan society views like the chastity of women and how like they do those kind of things and in that kind of perspective? And I think if it's more intrinsic, which I 100% understand, and like I would 100% like see that view as 1,000,000% valid, I think cool, then we need to unpack that in a very pro-social way. But I also think that if we're, you know, experiencing these kind of things and we're only thinking about it based on like how other people view me, I also think that kind of says something more about the societal aspect of it and not like the individual intrinsic way in which we view those kind of things. But I don't know this person. I like, to Eddie's point, I didn't watch the documentary either, so I kind of don't know what it is for her. But I think it's it's much more personal than I think.
This is where I wanted to add context to this specific one, because she has said in clips that were part of that same thread that like she likes, because she's been doing lots of work and she's done that kind of group sex shit and all that kind of stuff before, so she's not like this wasn't like her first. Exactly, she's been in the industry, you know, which is, and you know, with the porn shit, that's, you know, maybe a year she's been in. Who knows? Maybe 2 years, maybe 3. I don't know, but she's been around, and she was saying that like, I like doing porn, I like having a lot of sex, and I get an excitement of being viewed as a slut, and these are her words. And I like, say again.
I was just saying, and do you, queen?
And so I'm kind of like, to me, that this much more seems like it's the former, not the latter. This seems like it would be intrinsic, because she's been doing this, so she's not like, oh, I'm ashamed that I've fucked 100 niggas. It's like, oh, because she's been campaigning this shit from jump. But then also, you know, when money comes into it, it's a whole different fucking thing. Because there was another scene where
potential exploitation and
which is I'm unsure of how to unpack, because there's a moment where she says a lot of times she was showing her requests, and it's just like you can't even see individual requests because they're coming in so fast. It's just like it's a stream of green because they're coming in that quickly. And she's like, a lot of these I turned down because what they're requesting is some crazy shit that I just don't feel comfortable in terms of, like, I don't even want to enable that type of fantasy. He was like, hey, can I put like a grocery bag over your head and fuck you? Like, and not a paper one, or like a plastic one to like suffocate you. And she was like, I'm not doing it. And then the guy, the documentarian, goes, what if it was for $1 million? And she goes, yeah, I might have to bend my morals if it was $1 million. And he goes, shit, I would too. And there's that moment. And it's like, well, for enough money, and if there's a system that allows enough money, people will, I'm going to use the word allow, but will allow themselves to be exploited.
Do something strange for a piece of change.
For a piece of change, exactly. Look what money maker such and such do. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like it's hard to parse out who's responsible, but it is. I mean, there you can't watch that video and be like that there's not something, that there's not harm happening. You can't argue that watching that. Like, this is a person that is experiencing distress for whatever set of reasons.
I mean, what if it really was just solely out of the fact that she couldn't make 100 niggas bust a nut? What if it really was that? What if she was really just sad just because of that and that alone?
I think that that's part of it, but I think that also seems like, and now I'm over psychoanalyzing a person I don't fucking know, but somebody was saying like, oh, we need to talk about like,
that seems like a trauma
whether or not
response.
that a bunch of people who are in sex work have, you know, some type of trauma or abandonment or childhood sexual abuse shit. And it's like feeling that beholden to a group in that way, that could be an indication. I don't know that it is though, because she's also like making money. These are customers essentially who are making her a lot of money. So they're paying her multiple grands of dollars for some collection of seconds with her, are huge fans, and she's making millions off of this as well. So it's like, it's hard to parse out, because it's like, if this was anything that wasn't sex, we would be looking at it differently. We'd be like, oh, well, yeah, you know, you're a customer, you're giving a service, you should do what you want to. But when it's sex, and as it should be, sex is a much more intimate, much more protected kind of thing. So it's a whole different kettle of fish when you talk about customer service, when the service is sex, you know? So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's part of it. But then, the other thing that she said was that there's this guilt thing of like the niggas guilting her. And it's like, I also don't know how to parse, because I'm like, that's wrong on their level. But I also understand being like, well, I did pay for a thing. So how do I approach this?
Flew 5 hours for 2 minutes.
Right. But it's also,
I'm not on their side, you know, but you know, I get it.
I think,
but then this goes to my point, which is, I think is that
paying for
there
a
just
service
needs to be
versus
more
what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. But the aside to, or the counter to that I want to get at is, I think that we just need heavier regulations on some of this shit. Like, we're letting it be so laissez-faire that it's kind of like how Georgia's a right to work state. Like, and the idea is that we've framed freedom as you can do what you want, but it also is allowing people to harm themselves or put themselves in situations that allow themselves to be exploited. And I feel like, yeah, sure, you have the right to pop pussy, but should you? Because ultimately, if you're 21, just entered the industry, and somebody's like, yo, I'll give you $5 million to do some crazy shit. And you're like, oh, I love being a slut. I love having fun. I love sex. Cool. Da, 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 da. And then you're 24 and you're like, fuck, that was way more than I was fucking ready for. And there was not a system in place to just slow shit down to give me a chance to figure out how I want to maneuver in this situation. I feel like there's not that what do you call it? Cool off period in regulation in the industry.
Yeah, and I agree completely. And I also think that specifically with sex work, especially in the way that she did it, you also don't have things like market forces that, like, so for example, for example, like you say, like you mentioned, like Georgia's a right to work state, right? So there's also a certain level of control that workers have, and that like talent has in that perspective, right? So like if a employer does their employees wrong, then eventually they won't be able to find like employees is the logic, right? So like ultimately, like the the invisible hand of the market kind of regulates itself. I think that specifically with sex work, you don't have the same sort of invisible hand mechanisms for that. Again, based on the volume and the value of what that looks like. So I think that you 100% need to regulate it in some form or fashion, largely for the protection of the sex workers. Like, I think that a lot of times also that a lot of sex work legislation focuses on protecting I'm trying to find the does is the word I want to say, but I don't have a better word. The customer. I don't know, whatever. The customer.
The Johns.
Yeah, the Johns.
The tricks.
But,
Marks.
yeah. But I think that like we need like a lot of regulation to protect sex work, because again, sex work is here. Like I don't know if people truly understand exactly how much it has arrived in the OnlyFans, et cetera, like world. So I think that we need things to regulate it for the protection of sex workers, because I don't think the invisible hand is going to protect sex workers, even in the modicum of ways that it protects like people in other industries. Because again, the valuation and the volume of it means that it's kind of plentiful and it's kind of out there.
Yeah, I think I agree with, like, I don't want to delve into it too much, but I don't know if I think that the gap between non-sex workers and workers in terms of exploitation in a free market is that the gap is in the direction that you're describing. But I don't want to necessarily bog into that, because I think your end point is very true, that there need to be protections because there's not enough market forces to
to
protect folks.
To clarify ever so slightly, and this won't change your point, I don't think, but I don't think that workers in the free market have a ton of control versus, say, like the structural entities of an economy. I think that the logic of people is that the market gives them some sort of protection. And I think that the logic is just a fallacy when you apply it specifically to sex work. So regardless of what the realities of those situations is, I think that there are people that operate under the perception that the free market gives people some level of like choice and protection to kind of hold employers accountable even in a right to work state. I don't necessarily think that's true, but I think that's the logic. I think that logic doesn't even apply for sex workers even in a theoretical sense is my point.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. Okay. On to the next one, because that is a thing worth delving into at some point. But yeah, I think. Well, yeah, Josh, did you have a thing that you were going to?
Yeah, actually, because speaking of moving on to the next one,
Oh,
ho ho ho, baby! It's
Yes.
the most wonderful time of the year, and Eddie Overgold, you actually have something to tell the good people.
I do actually have something to tell the good people. If you all are in a situation where you're with a group of 100 niggas and you don't want to fuck them to entertain your guests, you know what I'm saying? You could crack out one of these conversational card games. You know what I'm saying?
Or if
It's
you're
a red
tired of
flag.
fucking,
That's
you
what
can
you
crack this shit out
If you-
right in
yeah.
the middle of it.
Honestly, during your break, you know what I'm saying? If you're doing $100 for 2 nuts in the interim in between, bring out a card game. It's a great, stocking stuffer. We'd love to see it. It creates great conversations. And honestly, if you do want to get the It's a Red Flag conversation card game as a Christmas present, a stocking stuffer, any of that kind of stuff, put your orders in as soon as you can, so you can grab those and give them to your friends, your family, that kind of stuff. Fill them into their home so that when you come through for the dinner party or the orgy or whatever the fuck, when you're doing a break, you can have some nice conversations. You can cop that at shop.wavingtheredflag.com. That's what we came to say. You know what I'm saying? Merry Christmas.
And if you find yourself
Happy
being
holidays.
slightly, even like for the slightly socially awkward, like if you don't know, not sure how to start conversations, having conversations, throw out a card. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Just trust in the heart of the cards, baby. Shuffle that deck up.
100%,
Absolutely.
Monster Rebirth, Exodia.
We
what I'm saying?
will be dropping a
100%.
card. What's the shit that Yu-Gi-Oh had, that arm shit? What's that shit called?
Dual disc.
A dual disc. A dual disc. We will be dropping a Waving the Red Flag branded dual disc next quarter. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Absolutely. What else we got? What else we got on the deck? Jay-Z accusations.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if we got enough time. It's
it's
hiding in the street. It's hiding in the streets right now.
Do we even know anything? Like, because people been saying that this was gonna happen.
They dropped a bunch of shit today, man. They dropped a bunch of shit today.
Because I don't know. I'm like,
it was the NBC
fairly alleged, and I'm like, I don't know.
It was the NBC News interview. Like, basically came out. Jay-Z and his attorney sent out a affidavit to the courts, basically saying like y'all should just dismiss this. But like if y'all don't dismiss this, like we coming for y'all niggas, basically.
I mean,
based on the interview,
does that mean that doesn't mean anything in either direction to me?
I think the interview means a lot.
Okay. Oh, this is a recorded interview as well as
the victim. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so it was a complete teardown of a huge percentage of her testimony in terms of like how this happened. So some of the witnesses that she said were there, like, were verified that they couldn't have possibly been there. Her father, who she said came and picked her up to take her from Manhattan back to Rochester, the 5-hour drive. He said, yeah, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Remember it.
And again, there's some reasons why that could happen. Like, because he also, the actual quote that people aren't double clicking into enough is, he said, I got a lot going on in my life. And that leads me to believe that like he may be utilizing like drugs. He may have like, there may be reasons why he wouldn't remember like certain things.
He might just not recall it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also when it comes to like, I'm not trying to make excuses.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to make excuses, but I definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not trying to make excuses for if this isn't true testimony, but obviously, you know, we're talking civil situation. It's in the probabilities, and the probabilities are, you know, people don't tend to lie about this.
The probabilities are lower. Yeah, 51%. But
when it comes to these like inconsistencies in the story, I'm like, motherfucker, if you ask anybody what they were doing, you know, 6 years ago, no one is going to be able to accurately get everything. Like,
I think I will get that, but like,
remember a 5-hour drive.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
no, for him, I was saying not the dad thing, but the witnesses thing of like who, like,
no,
who
it's not even that, right?
Yeah.
So some of the testimony that she specifically like based this suit on was like talking to like the Madden brothers from Good Charlotte, and they literally weren't there, right? Or like she specifically said that like this after party happened at this specific situation, and like Jay-Z and Puff were actually at like a event during the like after the VMAs, like from that
again. And I'm not,
I agree with
excuses you because I do understand that like you have to make a defense. So I get it that is evidence in one direction. Yeah. But if you're going to a bunch of parties and you're in that scene, you mix nights up and shit like that. You don't know, you know what I'm saying? That's
and
regular.
Also,
so that's
and also
that doesn't completely dismiss shit to me.
And also to the point, like the after party that they said they were at is only 19 minutes away from where she said this sexual assault happened, right? So like they literally could have like legitimately
drugs,
like legitimately
alcohol in
exactly like they legitimately could have like went there, like done this and then like come back, right? And nobody could have like you know, like
verified put a time on any of that.
Exactly. So I'm not saying that like he didn't do it. I'm just saying that like this is
the evidence
what the interview happened.
Not necessarily, sure. Yeah, and look, that's why I'm like, if it's alleged, figured out, like it's not, you know, I don't fucking know. But so that seems more in that direction, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he didn't to me. But
it definitely doesn't mean that he didn't do it. Like just being frank, but I want to say that is the evidence that's been presented that like impugns the validity of what she's saying, and also
and that's worth looking at 100%.
And again, for civil suits, the burden of proof is typically a lot lower, but there have been but there have been people that have said that they wouldn't have even like tried this case based on that. Based on like what has happened from that perspective. But I do think that we should let this play out. I do believe in believing victims. I do think that a lot was placed on this victim for being neurodivergent. Like it was stated in the interview that she participated in that she's autistic, and I think that I what I don't want to happen is for people to discount anything that she says based on any sort of neurodivergence. Like she still maintains that this is what happened. I think we should let this play out. But I do think that
how people kind of move. Are they going like she's acting strangely or something, or what are they saying?
So what people are saying? What people are saying is that her autism, as self-reported, allowed Tony Bisbee to take advantage of her and use this as like sort of a ambulance chaser moment, using a vulnerable victim. But I would also point out that it's her attorney, the one that brought the suit.
Oh, so he's pushing her to say something that isn't true. That's the argument that's being made.
That's the Twitter conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I would also say that people with such disabilities are also more likely to be victims because people are less likely to believe them. So I do want to point that out as well. Like, I do think that this is far from a done deal, and people are treating it like it's a done deal. I think that it's important to note what happened as a result of the deep dive that actually happened from journalists and via the interview. But this shit ain't over, man. Like, support victims, like believe victims, until you have a definitive reason not to, because that has happened. But as I continue to point out, people rarely lie about this kind of thing. But when you say they rarely lie about it, that means that there is a percentage.
Rarely is amount. Yeah,
exactly.
So we'll see what the evidence say. Yeah. We got like 2 minutes. Let's, is there anything else that we want to do? Shout out Jamie Foxx. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Yeah.
It's a great special. I don't know if y'all saw it. It was fucking great. It was great. And it was in Atlanta. I was like, it would have been to see that live, because it was good just on Netflix, but to see it live would have been great.
Damn.
It was emotional. It was talented. I literally, and I'm not bullshitting. I gut laughed multiple fucking times, and y'all didn't. That's not part of y'all's benefits package. All right, fucking get it together. If you want to get promoted, put in more hours. And I gut laughed like multiple times, and I cried like twice during this shit. This motherfucker had piano in it. His daughter was playing guitar. He had effects. He had monologues and stories and singing, all in this hour-long special. And it was he just took you on a fucking journey of what his last like year and a half has been. And apparently what it was he had a stroke, is the short version of it. And yeah, just him talking about him having this self-reflective moment of like this Goodwill Hunting kind of situation where he was like, I really for so long couldn't even comprehend that this was some shit that could happen to me. So I was just in denial and anger for so long before being like, okay, fuck, I have had a stroke. I have to go through physical therapy. Somebody else has to wipe my ass for me to get back to being the Jamie Foxx that y'all know and love. And I have to get my family to lock down on everything, and they can't, no pictures of me, nothing can come out because I look, like I've had a fucking stroke. I'm all fucked up. My body don't move the same. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. He got kind of religious on some weird shit a couple of times, but it was, even that was still quite beautiful. There was some of it was a little bit like, all right, but yeah.
That's a ringing endorsement. I'll definitely put it on the list, but I have not watched it. But I also will say that I kind of knew it was a stroke. Like, I don't know why.
It was not a mystery illness.
It was not a mystery illness. Like, I was fairly confident. But I do get why he would operate the way he did in response to that. So I will say that cerebral vascular disease is like my biggest fear in life.
As soon as I finished that special, I've been Googling recently, like, how do you prevent, and I'm curious if you know anything about this, because I would like to put this forward to our audience of like, what are the things that you should be doing to, one, look out for strokes and what did you call it? Cerebral issues and disease. Like cerebral vascular issues.
So some of it is genetic. Like, you can have like
shit,
yeah, like you can just have, so one, some of it is genetic. Some of it is just like naturally, it's just going to happen with age. So like the capillaries in your veins will just get weaker with age, and also the rate in which those will get weaker is not primarily but partially genetic. But the typical things that people can do, so one, if you're having stroke, so fast, so make sure that you're tracking to fast logic. So making sure that you can speak, making sure that you can raise your hands, making sure that your face is not like drooped, all that kind of stuff. And if any of those things are happening, then you need to call 911 immediately, because if they can get you with the thrombosis, like dissolving treatment, the faster they can get you to that, like, it's that the better.
Can you run back through what that acronym is? FAST? Is that what you said?
Yeah, FAST. So is paying attention to your face, so facial drooping, weakness in your extremities, speech difficulties, and the last one is time. So it's just how long these kind of things have been happening. And then the idea is that if any of these things are happening in conjunction or over time, that you kind of need to let 911 know, like, as soon as possible, because if they can get you with an injection of the clot dissolving situation, which is usually what it is, it's usually it's usually thrombosis, right? So it's usually like a clot somewhere in your cerebrovascular system that they can dissolve quickly. And if they dissolve it quick enough, then you're kind of in a much better state. But it can also be like the rupture of capillaries within your brain, which, you know, if there's a bleed, then they have to do more additional stuff to they gotta handle that. But in order to like prevent those kind of things, again, if it's not a genetic or age thing, black men, get your blood pressure checked, man. Get your blood pressure checked. Like
Get that cholesterol checked.
yeah, exactly. Get your cholesterol checked, get your blood pressure checked, have an annual physical. Make sure that you're in consistent contact with a primary care physician specifically for those kind of things. A lot of times you should do it earlier than you think. Like I know a lot of black men, like when they finally do start going to the doctor, it's at a point where they're in like their late 40s, their early 50s. I'm saying that you should start like now,
30s at least.
like now.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're listening to this, start
Regardless of age. So if you're
Yeah.
in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, start doing it. And which is true, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that's not just this. Like, and this is a thing that I tell people all the time, and that was drilled into me early during this section of my life, which was that the period for testicular cancer is 18 to 35. If you
Yes.
are a man who is post puberty, you need to be getting checked. You need to be doing self checks. Like, look out for. Do any video of like how to self-examine for testicular cancer. You'll find videos on how to do it. It ain't that difficult. Do it once, do it once a month is something like that is about decent and could save your fucking life, because prevention, like detecting some shit early, is the main goddamn predictor of whether or not you're gonna, make it through it.
And actually, yes, and just so people fully understand what that is, like cancer treatment has been, it's 2024. Cancer treatment has been the same for like 80 years. The fact that we've gotten better with cancer outcomes is almost purely based in prevention and detection.
Yep.
That's what's saving us. The methods for treating cancer have not fucking changed much in decades, in any of our lifetimes. Prevention and detection is what saves us, because if you catch it earlier, the better those methods work.
Preach.
Big old fact.
The other thing to do prevention wise, I'm just looking at a list and we'll close it out, but it's the usual shit of like healthy diet, physical exercise, don't smoke if you're able to, limit your alcohol, and as we said, the check your heart pressure and blood pressure and cholesterol regularly.
Just so y'all know, your boy has 2 bourbons a week. That's it.
Is that the correct amount?
My doctor said I could do. My doctor gave me an ounce restriction.
He said 3 is fine.
Yeah, my doctor literally gave me an ounce restriction, because I was drinking, and this is more so in my youth.
Too much.
Yeah, this is more so in my previous grad school life. I was drinking too much, but I don't drink. I definitely don't drink during the week, and I have a very hard restriction on what that is, because again, to Eddie's point, smoking, drinking, not having a balanced diet, not doing light to moderate exercise 3 to 5 times a week is what hits us, 60 plus especially. So make sure that you're tracking all that.
Get your body right, fellas.
Big facts. And that is a personal message that I shall need to take to heart. So with that being said, if your eyes get too big for your pussy, you might be seeing a red flag.
Oh my God.
However, as a black man, if you're not getting checked up on regularly and going to the doctor, then it might be just indeed waving the red flag. It's never too
That's
early.
law.
And and best believe I'm that message was also not just for you all out there, but it was definitely for me too, because it's gotta get that health checked out. So stay on top of that, fellas and women, everybody. It's been your boy Josh. It's been Eddie. It's been Alvin. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join us in our extracurricular adventures. You know what I'm saying? Like follow us. You know what I mean? Like join the Patreon. So you can get access to additional content. Such as
the lives,
the Discord.
You know what I'm saying? Bonus content, discounts.
Funny, bro. So absolutely.
In the live too, man. Always be plugging, man. Always be plugging.
Big facts. Yeah, come through to the live. It's every Saturday. Started at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. whatever, EDT, EST.
Yeah,
One of them
ESP.
joints, whichever one. We there every Saturday. We here. You know what I'm saying? If you bored as fuck, come through. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep you company. Ask you questions and shit. And yeah, so thank y'all for being on the journey with us, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace, folks.
Cop the
Love
card
y'all.
game too. If you
Gotta
want to
do
support
it.
this
Gotta
very
do it.
small business, very
Smallest possible business, smallest possible unit. That's still a business.
Take a break, draw a card, have a laugh. You know what I'm saying? Get some rest.
Indeed.
Give yourself a moment to breathe.
Absolutely.
All right.
Draw from the heart of the cards.
It's a red flag.